Yo, what's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Earth Mac, the mad scientist, and I have a very, very, very special guest for you guys today. She is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles savant, and she is a retro gamer. Her name is Queen G22, the Queen G22. What's going on with you?
You know, it's Sunday. I'm chilling. I don't have anything to do. I'm just watching football, hanging out with you, and sipping mimosas. So I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm great.
So, what got you into gaming? Like, what was the first game you played that said, you know what? This is gonna be me forever.
Yeah, me forever. Jeez. It was the very first game that I played, which was Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
The original Super Mario.
The original Super Mario. I know I look amazing, but I'm old. I've been around a long time, and Super Mario, the Nintendo Entertainment System, was my first console that I played with. That's really what opened up my eyes. You know, I was a little girl, but it created a bond between me and my brother. It was like we're really close now because of gaming. Like, we did it every day, first thing in the morning, after school, you know, all that. But I would say the Super Nintendo, the Donkey Kong Country series, the rivalry that I would play with my brother and my cousins, like in Street Fighters, because we weren't allowed to have Mortal Kombat in our home, only when we went to the arcades. And then the Final Fight series and the Battletoads. Battletoads, but Double Dragon. Being able to play those games with my brother, like all these different like genre of games, just pretty much sealed the deal with me. I was like, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. I just wanted to play games.
So, my favorite Super Mario game on Nintendo is Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not many people bust out the 2. It's always the 3.
Always the 3, but it was 2 for me. I don't know what it was about 2 that just stuck with me.
Super Mario Brothers 2 was really cool, though. I mean, with Luigi and his crazy jumps, and Princess Peach being able to fly, and Toad was super strong. I don't know why Super Mario Brothers 2 does not get as much credit as it should. Like, that game was a big difference from the original Super Mario.
Oh yeah, indeed. It's I think what it was another game in Japan, and it was called something else, and then they mapped over it and say, hey, this is Super Mario Brothers 2. And I think it doesn't get enough credit because the power-ups is not there. You know, you don't have fireballs. You know, you don't have...
That's all you needed.
That's all you needed, really. So, I mean, the star and getting big, and you just pick up things and throw them. And the fact that all this was a dream for Mario, I think I really did like that, and beating King Ward. And for some reason, as a kid, me and my brother is 11 years apart. Okay. So whenever I couldn't beat a certain level, he'll pick it up and he'll play. He's no longer a gamer. It just stuck with me. But Mario 2 always been the one that kind of just really, I'm gonna go back and play that. Now Mario 3 is awesome. Like, not taking anything from Mario 3. It's awesome. I played it in its entirety. And
did you play it in its entirety through each level, or did you use the flute?
I did both. I did the flute first because I saw that on The Wizard, which is one of my favorite movies. That's like one of my top 10 movies as a kid. And I'm pretty sure you've seen The Wizard many times.
Many times. It's legendary. It's iconic.
Yes, the Power Glove. It's so bad. Like, oh man, those lines were just so
we had
cheesy
what we
corny.
had then.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's iconic.
That's true. So now you actually have a different take too, because your favorite Ninja Turtle, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong.
Don't get it wrong.
It's Donatello, right?
That is correct. Yes.
So you are the only person I know that Donatello is your favorite turtle.
Yes. And
So-
I root for him like so strongly. Like so like I'll fight people over Donatello. It's that serious for me. You know, honestly, I can say it started off as a young girl and his bandana was purple. Like that was interesting to me. But then as I got older, it became so much more than that. I did get tired of hearing other people, you know, just always talking about Leonardo, Raphael, and Michelangelo. So Donatello was such an underdog and so underestimated. I think I kind of related to that, right?
Yeah.
To be intelligent and strong in other ways that people don't always recognize and see. And I find that very intriguing by Donatello. I think like he really is the core of the brothers. Most of the stuff they get into, Leonardo is asking him how to get out of it, you know? So without Donatello's expertise and knowledge, you know, things would have been different for the brothers. I mean, they all, you know, work well together. They bring a different thing to the table. But Donatello is just so underestimated. I like that a lot. He's like a silent captain. He leads by example and by things that, you know, people don't pick up right away, but he is an essential piece of the team.
You know what? That is a very good assessment on Donnie, because Donnie is the smartest out of the four. And you are right. Leonardo does go to him a lot. Like, if they can't figure it out, hey, Donnie, how do we do this? Give me a minute.
It's frequent.
It's frequent. Like, give me a minute. Let me figure this out. Listen, this is how we do this. This is how we do that. All right, bet. We're going to go handle this. For me, I don't know that many people that Leo is the favorite turtle either. It's always either one of the two, Ralph or Mikey. And Mikey is my favorite, mainly because my personality is more like his, and he's really like aloof. Nothing really bothers him. He's like, you know, everybody enjoys him. But I did read somewhere he is the most talented turtle out of all of them, as far as martial arts is concerned. Not
necessarily the most talented. He is the most skilled turtle out of all of them. He has the least amount of training, right? Because he's always whatever. He'd rather be doing other things.
Right.
He has the least amount of training, but yet he is the most skilled of all turtles. So that is actually a really, really unique characteristic, and that's the reason why he is the last Ronin. So he's my second favorite turtle for sure. Yeah.
And you remember when the last Ronin was announced, people was trying to figure out who was the surviving turtle.
I was disgusted.
Say it again?
When the last Ronin was announced, I was disgusted.
You were disgusted?
Disgusted.
You wanted Donnie to be the last one?
I wanted all of them to be the last one. What type of universe are we living in where we're killing off Ninja Turtles?
Listen, so doing my research on it, right? Because the way I was introduced, pretty much the same as you probably, we was introduced to the 1987 cartoon. Yeah. And that's what our first introduction to the Ninja Turtles were. Little did, I do research, and through the toys that made us, documentary on Netflix. Listeners, you might want to go check that out, by the way.
It is an excellent documentary.
Yes. And the Turtles were very serious. And I think, didn't they kill Shredder in the first issue? Didn't they take him out in the first or second issue?
Donatello actually finished him off, yes.
Yeah.
Donatello killed Shredder. Spoiler alert. That was in the original comics. And a lot of people who are, Ninja Turtle fans, they are not even aware that Shredder actually died, in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people speculating what the last Ronin was. I mean, it didn't take long for me. I'm like, it's Mikey. It's Mikey. It makes the most sense. Like he's the joyful. You don't think so? Because he's the joyful character. So if I knew you was gonna say Donnie. I knew you was gonna say Donnie. But okay, so think about it this way, like character development wise.
Sure.
Ralph is too easy because he's about that life.
He is about that life. He needs
I'm
to
gonna fuck your
calm
life
down.
up on sight. It's like him, Leo. I do like Leo, but Leo is more. Is boring the right word? I can't say boring, but he's the leader.
I just want you to know that I am going to clip that part and send it to every Leonardo fan that I know when you're done with this.
Do so. I welcome the smoke. But okay, so like Leo, it's too easy. Donnie, I can see Donnie. Donnie was my second pick, to be honest. But Mikey was like the first pick for me because not because he was my favorite. It's just because of his personality and how would that affect him if all his other brothers are gone.
Right.
What would that do to him? So it's like when they announced it was Mikey, I was like, I was right. But I didn't like it either because his brothers was gone. And
yeah,
Casey.
they're all gone. It was an awful, well-written series. It was entertaining. I read every issue. Right when it came out, I read the first issue and wanted to know who it was. It's a good story because it's a story that we've never had before.
Yeah.
Especially since the Turtle fans who are original Turtle fans are older and mature now, I'll give him that. And I've told Kevin Eastman and Tom Waltz to their faces, like, it was a good story. It just sucked, it
sucked.
It sucked so hard. Like I was devastated
I shed
for
a tear.
a while after reading that series. But once I got past all that and thought about it, because I never really thought about who it should have been, right?
Yeah.
I was always thinking about who I wanted it to be, which obviously I wanted my guy to survive. But with Michelangelo and his personality type and being the youngest and all of that, it was a good fit because it really forced a lot of growth upon him.
Yeah.
And he was the right one.
I'm in the same boat as you. It was a great story. I didn't like it, but it was but it was a great story. I mean, I did shed a thug tear, man, for my boy. I mean, because spoiler alert, but when the thing happened with him at the end, I was like, damn it, man.
I was like, dang, now you can't. Now listen. So you got rid of all of them because if you don't know by now, then shame on you. But
yes.
Also, what I didn't like, and I still have beef. I haven't seen Tom Waltz in a while. I'm gonna find him. You killed off these turtles who I grew up with, right? I'm 41. I grew up with the Ninja Turtles, so you kill them, and then you just try to push 4 new turtles that I don't know anything about in my life. I'm not ready.
You're not ready. I'm not ready. Hold on. Rewind for a second. Did you say 41?
41. I told you I'm old, Joe.
But yo, so come on now. You're not that much older than me. I'm 38. Well, for at least a couple more months.
Yeah.
but yeah.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, we in the same boat here. Like, you don't watch TMAT 1, 2, 3, which is by far the best movies ever. But speaking of those movies, which one you think is the best one?
The live action movies?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to give you 2 answers.
Okay.
My first answer is right off the bat, I'm going to say the first one. Because that's the one that we had never had before. That was the first one that was brought to us. It was amazing. Shredder was scary. The turtles were so cool. It has to be the first one because that's the original.
Yeah.
But I also really lean towards Secret of the Ooze because Donatello is more vocal. You see more of his personality. He's more in the story than he was in the first one. So I like them both. I'm not a fan of the third one too much. honestly, I don't remember it that much because I was so unentertained with it, and I still haven't really tried to go back and sit down and watch it in its entirety. The third one, but definitely the first one and the second one.
For a very long time, 2 was my favorite one. Mainly because of that scene in the club with Vanilla Ice.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go.
Like, when I tell you I had that dance routine down to the letter, I had it down to the letter. It's like, how many times I rewind that VCR tape? Like, to get it right. It's like one of my favorite parts is when Ralph did a kick and he hopped back up and he just started dancing like right at that moment. And another funny moment was when Donnie was making the chemical, and no, what it was, Mikey sniffed the pot and he just dropped the piece in there, and then Donnie was like, he just kept stirring. So yeah, I really did appreciate Donnie in that. Now my great appreciation for Donnie started with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Nintendo, where you can switch turtles as you pause. Yeah,
as it should.
Yes, that will wear my respect. I did not pick Donnie unless I was in dire straits. That was it. Until I got to the water stage where a lot of trauma happened. And,
the water stage, I believe there are still what do they call, like, help groups today for the people that are dealing with the trauma of trying to get through the water levels. Yeah, it was it still is no joke. It's still a hard ass game.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
We loved it.
Yes. We wanted to hurt again. It's how we did.
Yes. But if you lost Donatello in that game, for sure, you're done. You're not going to get through it. He's an essential character in that game.
Yeah.
And I also heard that even though he's a little bit slower in Shredder's Revenge, he is still the best character in Shredder's Revenge as well because of his reach with the bow staff.
Really? I have to experiment with that.
Yeah.
Experiment with that.
This is coming straight from Tribute Games and Dotemu, right? That's how you say it?
Yeah. Dotemu, yeah. I'm gonna have to experiment
from the horse's mouth, sir.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Okay. Yes, and listen, Queen is correct. If you lose Donnie, you ass out. I mean, you might as well hit that reset button. Unless you find him again and rescue him from being captured. But that's kind of like a needle in a haystack type of thing. So Donnie is your last resort. Donnie is your most powerful character on that game. Now, I'd have I finally beat that game last year.
Did you really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Seriously, that is a huge accomplishment.
Man.
Huge.
Queen, when I tell you, I just put the controller down like this and walked away.
You should. You're done.
I'm done.
What else is there to achieve in life?
I don't want to game anymore today. That is it. Anymore today. Now, I do have something, because you did say, I did see some of your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic books. So, I went to a convention. We have a Soda City convention here in Columbia. I go to most of the East Coast stuff. And I did find this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie. Yeah. So, I do want that run, the run that you have. The run where it has the 87 Turtles on the cover. I do want that run.
You're talking about the Archie series.
Yes. I do want the Archie series. And
if you like to laugh and be entertained, that is a really, really fun series.
And I can't wait for it. Now, as far as your retro gaming is concerned, again, I did some research on you. Super Mario, obviously. Donkey Kong Country, obviously. Yeah. So, it was all Nintendo in your household? There was no Sega at all?
There is no Sega. I don't even know what a Sega is.
Emotional, damn it!
Oh! Sega stuff. I'm like, look, I don't want to hear anything about Sega this, Sega that. I have beef with Sega.
Okay, enlighten me.
So Nintendo, yes, was in our household,
Yeah.
all Nintendo, right? Because my parents went to Kmart, whatever, bought the regular Nintendo. Then when we graduated to Super Nintendo, and then I was just getting into high school. I think it came out in 96. No, I went to high school in 97.
Yeah.
So when the Nintendo 64 came out, right? So around that time, I wasn't really interested in gaming. I was a little bit interested in, boys and sports and stuff like that. So I didn't play Nintendo 64, but I never had a Sega in my household. Now, so I've always been a Nintendo fan, period. Even my friends, they all had Nintendos. I didn't have any friends that had Segas. So my beef with Sega is, as I got older and did more research, and I want to know all the history involved with gaming. Like, I am so interested and intrigued by where we started and how we got to where we are today.
Yeah.
Did you watch Console Wars?
Yes, and speaking of which, I got on my bookshelf. You might want to get this bad boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So after I saw Console Wars, and then I saw another series on Netflix. I can't remember what it was, and I learned about how disrespectful Sega was when they jumped on the scene. Like, all the things Nintendo don't, and just trying to advertise just straight to teenagers. Like, dude, Nintendo was minding their own business, just trotting along, and then here comes Sega trying to put them out of business.
Oh, you mean that commercial where Sega does what Nintendo don't? You mean that one?
Yeah. It's unnecessary. Like, when did Nintendo ever come for Sega? They never. Sega just went after Nintendo. Nintendo was just trying to chill. So with that, I do not allow Segas in my house. Don't bring that Sega stuff over here.
Wait, you did have a Sega Game Gear. Remember, I did research.
Okay, but I was younger then. I was younger. This was before I knew the history.
Okay.
And I bought the Sega gear, just Sega Game Gear, just to embarrass my brother, right? Because he had the Game Boy and it had no color, and I just wanted to be better than him. So I got the Sega Game Gear, and I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. My parents made me get rid of it of a garage sale because I wasn't playing it. Dude, I had a whole case. I had like 100 games. I had the little the little antenna so you could watch TV.
Yes.
The magnifier screen. Like, I was all in, walking around with my little case and my extra 50 batteries so I could play that thing,
Oh my God, man. You know how much money you could make right now? I mean,
Dude, that's part of my life. Buying all this stuff that we got rid of because we weren't using it, at the time. But in all fairness, just to be clear, I am a fan of everything retro gaming, and that is a part of retro gaming history. I'm a fan. Dude, Sega came out with some amazing games. I'm just saying, don't bring that Sega mess to my face. I don't want it.
See, this is where we're gonna have smoke. So, my first system was a Nintendo, like just straight out the gate, and I loved the hell out of that thing. I had Super Mario Brothers 2, obviously. I had an obscure game called Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight. You ever heard of it?
No, that's the whole game. The Final Fight.
Yeah, it's called Street Fighter 2010, The Final Fight. It's by Capcom. And the main character is Ken.
Ken Masters.
Ken Masters, but it's not Ken Masters, it's just straight Ken, right? So think Mega Man, but with the music is what got me, really, because it had that rock-esque kind of background music to it, and I'm like, it was like fast paced. And so Ken has a cybernetic suit on, like from the neck down. And basically you travel from planet to planet killing these aliens, and you have these power-ups that have you shoot. Hey guys, I know you all are enjoying the show, but check it out. I have to let you know, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button and that notification bell, because if you hit that notification bell, you definitely get notified on anything that we do, whether it's live or recorded. And do not forget to hit that like button. Please hit that like button, because the more likes we get, the more views we get. The more views we get, the more subscribers we get, and our community continue to grow, so we can continue to have these conversations with each other and you guys. And also, whatever we do not cover in our YouTube channel, we definitely cover in our Orange Phoenix magazine. Our Orange Phoenix magazine is an online digital monthly magazine that's on our Patreon for only $5 a month. That's it. $5 a month. It's in the description below. Just click on that link, and without any further ado, we're gonna go right back into our show. Lasers like across the screen, but if you take a hit, that capsule goes down and your distance shortens. So basically your partner died in this accident and he turns into a pile of jelly. That's the story. He turns into a pile of jelly. So now this cytoplasm turns humans into aliens in large doses. So you as Ken, you have cytoplasm inside your body, but you don't turn into an alien. You just have cybernetic enhancements. And so now you're looking for Troy's killer, and it's really good. I'm gonna send you the link to like the gameplay of it, because I know you're gonna try to find it. I want you to find it. I want you to play it.
I wonder if it's on one of my emulators. Like, it
should be, because it's on my emulator here on my laptop. So
okay, it's Street Fighter 2010, the final
fight. Yes. The final fight. Not be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. That is an interesting story, and I've never heard of it ever.
It's by Capcom, so it was a copyright infringement. It's like year 20 something, and it's like way out in the future. They're talking about the Street Fighter circuit and all that, and no Ryu, no Chun-Li, and nothing like that. It's just Ken and him killing aliens. So
cool.
Very much out there. But I had that, Shadowgate. I had Shadowgate, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that, and the arcade game. One of my favorite games of all time on Nintendo, Batman: Return of the Joker.
Yeah.
Did have that. And I had a few other games as well. Now, Super Nintendo skipped by me. And I will never forget this Christmas. What, I got it like 1990. Grandmother's house. I see the Sega Genesis, and I was so geeked when I saw that, right? And I was playing Sonic 2 all freaking day. Then I had Sonic 2, X-Men 2, Clone Wars, which is only Sega. Mortal Kombat, the one that have only the blood. At that point, that drew me away from Nintendo, because you got to put in a code for this. And I did end up getting the Super Nintendo later.
Okay.
Yeah, so I ended up having both consoles, but Sega just had me in a chokehold, because it was more, I was a teenager, so it's catering towards Wii and everything else in between. So
yeah, that was their complete target audience, right?
Yeah.
Was teenagers, while Nintendo was still the family friendly, console. So I get that.
Yeah, you can't argue with the advertisement though. You had Michael Jackson, Bill Bellamy, Tupac, Biggie. Everybody was playing Sega Genesis. When you watch those hood movies, right? What they was playing?
They're playing Sega. They really are. They are playing Segas.
But
where's Sega Genesis today?
So in this book, I blame Japan for this. I really do. Because when Sega Saturn came out, right? It was like probably the most powerful console at that point in time, but it was so expensive, like for developers to make games for it.
Right.
And I was like, and it was a king of imports, so they kind of shot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah.
Then with Dreamcast, the person in charge at the time, like, hey, hold off for a second, just, hold off. When they released it,
Dreamcast came a little bit too fast, right?
It did, because PlayStation 2 killed it. It killed it.
PlayStation 2 killed everyone.
Yeah, like the minute they said, hey guys, we can play DVDs on this as well with your PlayStation remote. And you know how expensive DVD players were back in the day. It's like,
didn't PlayStation offer to collaborate with Sega and they declined?
Sony, Microsoft.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and Microsoft as well. And they're like, no. I think Japan just couldn't get their head out their own ass and just.
No, they could not.
And
they
now,
did. They shot themselves in the foot on that one for sure.
Yeah, still breaks my heart to this day. Because.
However, Nintendo originated in 1886 and still going strong today.
Interesting information nugget, because Nintendo wasn't originally a gaming company originally.
It was not, no.
So someone knows all the history of Nintendo. Yeah, you know you're coming back to the show, right? You know you're coming back.
I'd be happy to. I could talk about this stuff all day. When I tell you that I started really doing research on these consoles, like all of them, like Neo Geo, Coleco, and Television, all of them, Atari. I wanted to know how they started, where they started, and a lot of them went down in the big, gaming crash. But I love it. I love the history of people taking a risk and stepping outside the box. And it's true, not everyone knows that Nintendo was not a gaming. It was a few things, and a lot of it was cards. So I mean, people are like, it's an interesting story. It is.
No doubt about it. And so I got a few top 5 questions for you.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 video games of all time. Your personal top 5.
Video games of all time.
Yep. Throughout your 41 years of life. 5 games you can always go back to.
Oh my gosh. I'm just going to say what first comes to my mind.
That's fair.
But, there are a lot of really good games.
Right.
But there are, I think that the ones that come to my mind are the most memorable because I have an emotional attachment to them. And the attachment is, the history and what I was doing and who I was playing the games with, that kind of thing. So Super Mario Brothers 3 is in there. It's stupid games, like Battletoads. I have no business being in love with Battletoads. That game is so hard. It's ridiculously hard. But I have
the pain in my veins.
Game, right? Like me and my brother trying to play this game together and getting in fights because if one person dies, then either you all die or it's jacked up, right?
Yeah.
Battletoads Double Dragon, actually, more so than Battletoads. I'm gonna skip up a little bit because I recently decided to open my horizons and jump into like RPGs, and that was a couple of years ago. And the game that really opened my eyes to try other things is Tales of Arise. And then Tales of Arise sent me through this long wormhole playing like Fire Emblem series.
Yeah.
Now, like I'm going back and playing Fire Emblem and coming back up. I just finished like 3 Hopes. But then going back to like what I love, which are the 2D scrolling type games. So Final Fight 2 is one of my all-time favorites. And this is me going outside of the Ninja Turtle games because my ultimate favorite game is Turtles in Time, and then right below that is Turtles the arcade game, and then it would be like everything else, even I even love Shredder's Revenge. I love that. I love what's Turtles 3? Some Manhattan.
Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project, those are all really good games, but that would take up all 5. So, and then my last one would be Donkey Kong Country. I'm gonna say the first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
So you get
I
into
love them
RPGs.
all dearly, but it's the first one that was like, whoa, this is really, really cool.
So you are setting off like a number of light bulbs in my head because you say you're just not getting into RPGs. So I'm gonna give you the 2 greatest RPGs of all time, which arguably people might say it belongs on some of the greatest games of all time, not just in this particular genre.
Okay.
And both of them was on Super Nintendo.
Okay.
Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
And Final Fantasy VI.
Huh.
Yes.
So I was, I never got into the Final Fantasy series, and I saw an advertisement. Nintendo Switch did the Final Fantasy 7 and 8 and put those together, right? So I asked someone, should I play this game? Because there's a lot of hype around Final Fantasy, and if I just want to give it a shot before I just say, you know.
Yeah.
I started with Final Fantasy 7, and I don't know where I was, what I was trying to do, where I was trying to go. And then later people said, okay, well, maybe that wasn't a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 6.
Final Fantasy 6 is the best one. Put it like this. Okay, Final Fantasy 6 wasn't my first Final Fantasy I played. Okay. 7 was, and I played it when Sony PlayStation, PlayStation 1 was out. Okay. And it had me in the chokehold, and I was emotionally invested with the game, and it was like 3 discs long. And it was 3 discs long. It was originally supposed to be 4, if I remember correctly, but they had to, it was crazy. So from there, like you, I went down the RPG rabbit hole, and then years later, I discovered that the 2 greatest RPGs were on Super Nintendo, and that is Chrono Trigger, which honestly, the animation style, if I know you heard of Dragon Ball Z, the animation style of that, the same guy, he sort of kind of did the art style for that. And they did a remake on PlayStation where you have anime cutscenes. But Chrono Trigger is really good, and it was probably one of the first games, it's not the first game, that had multiple endings. So depending on what your choices were, on what you did in the game, you got a specific ending.
I do want to one day just set aside some time and really give Chrono Trigger a shot. I gave it a few minutes. I was impatient. I wasn't in the right headspace, but I understand that Chrono Trigger is still stated as one of, the best RPGs of all time. I mean, even trying to go buy that game, complete in box, you could spend anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 for that game, and it's limited run. So Chrono Trigger is one of those games that keeps getting thrown back at me. And I want to sit down one time and really try it, because I jumped into the RPGs like way late, way late, but I like the storytelling kind of games and getting to know and develop characters and all that kind of stuff. It's entertaining for me.
And with 6, they have a true bad guy, like no redeeming qualities bad guy. Like, he's a straight dick. That's just what he is. And
really,
yes, like when he comes on the scene, because it's Kefka the Mad Clown. I think that's what they call him. But like, just to put it in perspective, he wanted to poison the river just so he can just kill off a village next to him, just because if the day was Tuesday.
What?
Yeah, that's how dickish he is.
Oh, he's got to go.
Yes. So, like, with 6, it has the most playable characters out of any Final Fantasy game. There is a character that comes and goes in your party. Hey, I'm going to join you. And then after a few missions or so, he's like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm out. And then I'm done. I'm gone. And then you see him again later, and he comes join your party, and then, everything is all right with the world and everything else. But every character has their own unique quality. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I will give it an honest shot. I mean, there's a reason why people love the series, right? And then I do understand not everything is for everyone, but I never gave it a shot. Now, did you play Super Mario RPG?
I have not. I am ashamed.
Huh?
Do not be ashamed. I'm actually playing it for my first time now.
Okay, I'm glad someone's in the boat with me because it's on the Switch. It just came out on the Switch not so long ago, right?
The remake, yeah, or the remaster of what they did, yeah. So, Mario RPG was one of those games that I just, I wanted to play fast action games, or I wanted to jump on things. If I was in Mario jumping on things and I wanted to be fighting, or driving, Super Mario RPG was just not that. But since I appreciate RPGs now, I was like, let me see if I can go back in time and see what this game is about. And it's cute. I see why they got a really good name for it. You should give it a try.
I will. And the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster is on Switch as well. Like they did 1 through 6, this Pixel remasters of the game. So a lot of people just went and got 6 and just played it on the Switch. Chrono Trigger you would not find on the Switch. And a lot of people are asking, when is this thing is coming? You're going to have to do it on the emulator.
I have it on emulator. Yeah.
Yeah. And on Steam. You can get it on Steam too. It's a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah, I have it on the emulator. I just, I have 2 different ones that I use. And I think when I first tried playing it, it was on my emulator where I couldn't save it. And I was like, well, this isn't, I can't play this game, nonstop. It's not like back in the day where you tried to leave your Nintendo on and hope that your parents didn't see the light and then shut it off. I need to be able to save my game. So I will one day. I definitely will, especially I want to add that game to my collection.
Yeah.
But I won't be able to invest the money into it if I have no type of, I've never played it. So it just doesn't make sense for me to have it in my collection. Like I have no emotional history with it at all.
True. And I have 2 more things for you. So, your next top 5. Give me your top 5 consoles.
Oh gosh. Okay. I have to go with Super Nintendo because that's the one that really blew me open. And then I have to go to Nintendo because that's the one that started it all. It's absolutely necessary.
Okay.
My 3rd favorite console, which is a console that I never owned, ever. I mean, I have it now, but it would be the Neo Geo. Because I just think that is the sexiest console we've ever had in our life.
Yes. Man, you are a woman of culture, man. I knew something special about you. I knew it.
You know what? Which is really crazy. I was in my YouTube videos, I make these little comments about things, that I like and things that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Somebody picked up on the fact that I mentioned I'm a Fatal Fury fan. Like I used to play that game all the time in the arcades. And they sent me a Fatal Fury special for the Neo Geo.
What? Get out of town.
Blown away.
Wow.
Blown.
Wow.
Like, I'd get up. You know what? Hold on. You have to see this.
Yes. Yeah, bring it here. Let me see it. What? Get out of town. Yo.
Isn't it beautiful?
Man, that is gorgeous.
It's complete in box.
Yeah.
It's got the manual, and it's in really good condition. Look at this big ass cartridge, yo.
Yes, that is the Neo Geo cartridge, man. That thing was the same price as a Super Nintendo or a Sega Genesis.
Yes.
Freaking crazy.
So I'm really excited to have that. In fact, I'm gonna play that when I'm done here. So I just opened up the box right before I did the podcast, but I've been doing a lot of research on Neo Geo, and I adore it. It's too bad that it was so expensive and didn't last as long as it could have if it was, with production and everything. After that, let's see. I want to say it would be the Atari. And I'm gonna say the 7600 or 7800, the 7 one, where the game started to have a little bit more color and a little bit more action. And then my last favorite console is a console that I also never owned, but I think that it needs to be mentioned more, and that would be the Channel F. And that's just,
Oh my God! Wow!
just because
Whoa, did she just say a console that I have never heard of? Wow.
okay, so this is,
Channel F.
if you've never heard of the Channel F, let me tell you, this is gonna be fun for you. The Channel F was invented by a black man in his garage.
Wait, was that on that was on the documentary, right?
It sure was.
Okay, yeah. All right. So you said that, I was like, okay. I was like, oh, that's what it was.
And as soon as I saw that documentary, I went back, I researched, and I got myself a Channel F, complete in box, never been used, basically brand new. And it's a console that it should get some more, recognition, because it was the first one to use ROMs. It was the first one to have a pause button. The Channel F console was really opened up the doors for the rest of the console. So I give it honorable mention, even though it's something that I never played. There should be more education about the Channel F.
Well, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Wow. So last thing, because I know we're gonna talk off here a little bit. So we got to compare consoles, because I know me and you are a lot alike, and when we go in the retro game store, we kind of go crazy a little bit to the unhealthy obsession.
It is.
Yeah, when you said it at first, unhealthy obsession, I'm like, is it really though? It's not. Nah, it's just doing what brings you joy. So
it is.
So what do you have in your library now? What retro consoles you have?
Games?
Oh, either one.
Consoles. I have a Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
I have a Famicom. I have a Super Famicom.
Uh-huh.
I've got 2 purple Nintendo 64s. I've got a Super Nintendo. I've got a TurboGrafx 16. I've got a Wii. I've got an Atari. Which one is that? 2600. GameCube, Neo Geo, and television, and a ColecoVision, a Channel F, and an Atari 400.
Woohoo! Wow. Got so I have Sega Dreamcast. I have Sega Genesis, the first gen. I have the Sega Genesis Mini, which I have hacked. I have
it's modded.
Yes, and Super Nintendo, which I modded.
Also modded.
Yeah, I have a Neo Geo Mini.
Hey.
Yeah, and I have Neo Geo X Gold.
Right on.
Yeah, so they discontinued that joker. It's like, nah, no more of that. I have a Super Famicom. That was like my latest purchase because I wanted to get it because it looks so cool. Why they didn't sell it in the US like that, I don't know.
Are you talking about with like the box art and everything?
Yeah, like I got the Super Famicom, not the regular one.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So the gray on gray, and they had the colored buttons. So
it looks cool, right? Ours kind of looks like just basic.
Yeah, I'm like, you could have just sold it to us like that.
Right?
we would have bought it. Like,
still would have bought it. Yeah.
Right. It says Super Nintendo. It's like you put Super in front of it. Like, all right, it's cool. Let's go get it. So, another thing is I have this right here, and this is Carmen Sandiego, the computer game, but on handheld.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love me some Carmen. Where is Carmen Sandiego?
So, funny story. We got this place called Software Seconds, and we have this other place called Second and Charles. So, when in Second and Charles, they have like guitars, they have a retro game section, comics, and all that other stuff. And I see Carmen Sandiego just sitting there, right? I was like, this for real? Like, this is from the computer game, the old PC game from back in the day? And it was like, yeah. Sold. Give it to me. Run it. So I bought it, and it's on Amazon too. It's a little pricey. It's not $200 or anything like that, but I have it like sitting on my bookshelf, and I'm like, let me bring it in here. That way I can show it to you, and that way you can compare notes.
Neat. Like, that is so cool. Carmen Sandiego. I have a lot of really good memories with that too, because I was young, you know. So I used to play the video game with my mother. She knew all the stuff I didn't know, and all of the questions that they were asking. Like, I wasn't any help. But that is that one took me back.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, PS4. I have an original Xbox. I bought that recently. And there's something else to that. Oh yeah, the original Game Boy. I have that. I found that with the magnifier, and it had Tetris already in it. I'm like, sold. Let me get that. I'm gonna just have to get some batteries for it. And obviously the Nintendo Switch. And I do have a handheld retro game system where it has Capcom games, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Sega Dreamcast, PlayStation 1.
Which one do you have? What's it called?
The Abernic RGT.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on that because someone gifted me the Miu Mini Plus. And so you see a lot of videos of them comparing those two emulators. Both really cool and, you know, almost look the same pretty much.
Yeah, Sega Saturn is going to be very difficult to emulate. So you got to be leery of that. And Sega Dreamcast, some games are a little choppy, some not. But I got it mainly so I can play Neo Geo stuff, which we're going to talk about that off here. But, so Neo Geo is my jam. But, so for the listeners out there, Queen, how can people subscribe to you? How can people reach you and follow you and all in between?
I am straightforward across the board. The Queen G22. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, whatever. It's all the same. I'm easy to find.
Awesome. Thank you once again for being on the show. And this is not the last time you're going to see her on the show, because we always have awesome guests on the show. And actually, you've been our first guest in a long time. Usually, typically, it's me and Vivo, kind of like, you know, shooting out spiel. But it's awesome to have a woman of color to actually nerd out and blurt out and everything else in between. So,
well, thank you so much for having me. This was a really, really fun chat.
Yeah, and you guys reach out to Queen G22 on YouTube and subscribe to her channel, please. So until next time, y'all, peace.